Many of you will have seen those things, and some of you might even have wondered what they are. I will tell you, so you will never be able to unsee them again. They're called urine deflectors, and they were put in corners of walls like this one. This is the city wall in Kilkenny, to keep men from pissing into the corners because it's disgusting and it's also not great for the structure of the building, which tends to be historical. And I'm very grateful to Colleen O'Driscoll, who brought them to my attention. He posted about them last year, and I had seen them before in Kilkenny, but I also didn't know what they are. But now I know, and now you also know, and I will demonstrate to you with a bottle of water how they work. So if you do decide to relieve yourself there, after all, because there's no public toilet around, they're always built on a slope. So if you start peeing, chances are that you might soil your shoes, which you don't want really, do you? So that's what they're for. And of course, this wouldn't be my channel if we weren't gonna go and map those things. I've created a wiki page on the OpenStreetMap wiki with all the necessary information. So far, the wiki page is available in English and in German, because these are the only two languages I speak fairly fluently. And it gives you a short definition of it, and then how to map, a little instruction, and some images here. So this one is fairly similar to the ones I've shown you already. It's in England. And then there are also two in Lyon, which are a bit different. They're more like a roof, so you would even be tempted to put your feet underneath, so you would be even more in danger of soiling your shoes. So two in Lyon, and it's cute, looks like a ballerina, and one in Maastricht. Those are some of the examples I found on the wiki comments. There are none in Germany for some reason yet, but I'm going over there soon, so I'll keep my eyes peeled. And then I have some other languages down here, so it's easier to find the wiki page for people speaking other languages. But these are only the ones I found on Wikidata. And down here is a link to an article about a guy in Norwich who has them all recorded in some way. And let's go and map a few in Kilkenny. I just walked around Kilkenny for, 2 hours maybe, with my Osmond open, and every time I saw a urine deflector, I added a track waypoint, and then I exported that and uploaded it to OpenStreetMap as a trace. So I'm logged in with my username, so I go to GPS traces, my traces, and it's this one, UDS, GPX, and I click on edit map. That should open the map around where I found them. So you see the pink line, or fuchsia, that's where I walked. So you see I did a little bit of walking and I didn't find an awful lot. But there are two here. I also took pictures of the 4 I found so that I can add them later on. One seems to be here somewhere. I'll add this one as a note because there's actually a building that goes out of this wall a little bit, which isn't mapped yet. There's also a missing streetlight here. I don't know if you can see this white blob here. That's very likely a streetlight. So I'm just going to add a node here and maybe go in later on and fix it. So choose point up here and then set the node where I want it. And then I have to scroll down, usually to point. But since I used point recently, probably for a milk churn stand, it's up here. And I just type in man made. We only have to type man and made comes up. And then urine underscore deflector. It won't come up yet because I've only mapped 2 so far in Wexford. Once we reach about, I want to say 100 or so, maybe less, it will automatically complete the word. I'm choosing man-made because if ever there was anything man-made, it's a urine deflector because it's made for men, by men. Some people don't like the key man-made, but I think this one is really appropriate. And then there's also another one just at the other end of that building. So I'll add it here roughly. I could, of course, just copy it. So these two, and I want to add the Wikimedia link as well, since I have the picture. You don't have to do that if you don't have pictures, obviously, but you can. So one is this one here. I just left the uploading page open so I don't have to look very far. So that's this one, and the key is Wikimedia Commons, and I just paste this here, and it has to include the file colon bit. And the other one is this one. They're rather small compared to the next one, so I'm just going to open one of them so you can see what they look like. So they're only maybe half a meter high, I want to say. And then this one here, this is much larger, and it is further on here. This building actually goes out a little bit further, or rather maybe the wall goes in. That's probably easier to solve in JOSM, so I will go in later on and do it in JOSM. So these three are around the army barracks, and the last one is in Abbey Street. Be careful moving this so I don't move anything accidentally. Should be here somewhere. And it's along the city wall. There are a couple of buttresses along the city wall, and it's in the corner of those buttresses. So there's one, let's say here. Just gonna add the buttress like this. I don't exactly know how deep they are. And the urine deflector is in this corner. So what I would prefer is doing them as, mapping them as areas all the time. Like this. Man-made urine deflector. And the image is this one here. So this is this one that I've just drawn, but there are also, I think, 3 more between all the buttresses, because obviously all the buttresses give some privacy to be tempting to relieve yourself there, which we don't want men to do. And I would think that they were introduced in the 19th century. That's what Colleen said in his post, when people became aware of hygiene with cholera and all these kinds of things. Just a very interesting video about how cholera was tracked in London. I'll link it up in the corner, where they used maps for the first time to do something like that. That was very fascinating. And then we'll just save this. So added urine deflectors. I've done that earlier, so I can just use that. And I'm using the hashtag not taking the piss. It's probably not agreeing with some of the hashtag conventions on OpenStreetMap. I don't really care. So source would be survey, and I'll upload that. So if I wanted to add the other buttresses here, I could do that and then add more areas in between, but I'm not entirely sure where they are because I can't see them on the satellite imagery. Because they're all in the shade of the wall. It's impossible to see. Would have to have a different angle, which we don't have. So I just stick with these. And then I can go back to the main page of OpenStreetMap. They won't be rendered, partly because I've just introduced this tag today, and partly because there isn't any agreement on how to do that. But we can make them visible on Overpass Turbo if you wanted to know how many there are in Ireland, for example. There won't be many, as I said, I just introduced the tag today. But we go to overpass-turbo.eu and then open the wizard, which is up here, has a little wand, and type in man-made equals urine_deflector and then in Ireland. And if you want to look in Northern Ireland, there's no point because they're not mapped, but you would have to use quotes then. Anything that is more than one word, you would need quotes. I'll do that in a second. So I'm just gonna click on build and run query. So you see we have those two down in Wexford, which I mapped this morning, and then we have the other 4 in Kilkenny. So that's all that you could expect. If I wanted to look for County Kilkenny, I would change this Ireland to quotes County Kilkenny quotes. And if I run this now, it'll only show the ones in County Kilkenny. It doesn't work for every county. It won't work for Waterford. I don't know why. I'm just telling you that's the way it is. So that's a new thing you can map, and you'll probably see them all over now, and you're welcome. I hope you enjoyed this, and I shall see you again soon in another video, hopefully. Slán!